and Silas were on their way to a place of prayer. They were met by a female slave who had a spirit in her that could predict the future. She earned a lot of money for her owners by fortune-telling. She followed us and shouted at us. This was disrupting, and so Paul ordered the spirit out of her. When her owners realized that their chance of making money was gone, they dragged Paul and Silas to the authorities, and they were put in prison.
At around midnight, these two very positive prisoners named Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God. The rest of us were listening to them. Suddenly there was a violent earthquake and the prison shook. All the prison doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose. The jailer woke up, saw all the doors open, and drew his sword to kill himself. He thought all the prisoners had escaped, but Paul assured him and shouted that he should not harm himself. The jailer called for lights, rushed in and lay in front of them, trembling. The jailer accepted Jesus Christ.
When you have noise and activity and constant movement, you begin to neglect what your life is all about. He who walks with God will tell you plainly, God does not shout to make himself heard. I think it was C.S. Lewis who spoke of God's megaphone when he speaks to us in our times of silence. I'm talking to you this semester again and again about the importance of becoming intimate with your Lord. I spoke earlier about intimacy itself, and then the next time about simplicity. Today I want to talk about the value of silence. I know what you're facing. I understand pressure. I live with pressure. Pressure like I never knew at the seminary, and I didn't think it would ever get stronger than it is here. And it is strong here. It's stronger out there. The noise is louder out there. All kinds of things will crowd into your life, brothers and sisters. Something wrong when we have become so comfortable with a phone in our ear that we can ignore the very priceless few moments with those who bear our name and have our blood. You can get like that. You can form habits right here that can steal the precious moments of quietness and rest and release from all that. And today I come to plead with you. Be still. Be quiet. Slow down. As we often would say to one another when we were in too big a hurry, just cool your jets. Calm down. Because if you don't, you'll be all involved in planning on the next semester, or an extra few hours of work, or engaged in some other electronic device that you've saved for and will buy, and begin to serve instead of the other way around. In your Bibles, you will find in Psalm number 46 an imperative that is easy to miss. It is a Hiphial imperative of Rapha, which means cease. There's a sign we have here on our streets. Just one word means exactly what it says. I came upon several of them driving to the seminary today. Stop. Stop. Don't pull up and then rush on. Stop. And this particular command in verse 10 of Psalm 46 comes after a number of things that could really, really get to you. He begins with the most important word in all our lives, God. Is our refuge and strength, the very present help in time of trouble. Ein feste Burg ist unser Gott. A towering strength is our God. Luther wrote of it in the hymn, A Mighty Fortress, as it's been translated into English, drawn from the 46th Psalm. Because God is a towering strength, not a help, but a very present help, an immediate help, a help for now, right now, today, 9th of December, 2014, right now, at 11:06, a very present help. Tomorrow, just when you need him, a very present help. Middle of the night, when you need him, a very present help. Our God is right there. Don't become so familiar with him that you forget that. You will learn all about him, more than you ever knew in your life as you study here, and that's as it should be. But don't let the familiarity breed an indifference. Guard against that. You get like that when your studies stack up and when your pace increases and when your engine runs and rarely idles. Stop and realize that he's God. Look at the situations. In light of what the first verse promises us, a very present help. Therefore, watch closely. We will not fear, though we go through natural disasters. The earth should change. Mountains slip into the heart of the sea. Most of you have never experienced an earthquake. You haven't lived till you've gone through a 6-point or greater. It is the most insecure feeling on this planet, I think. When the foundation around you, or the earth beneath you begins to roll and shift. It's the most insecure feeling. We will not fear, though the earth should change and the mountains slip to the heart of the sea. We will not fear, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains quake at its swelling pride. God is in the midst of her, verse 5. She will not be moved. We will not be moved. Why? Because God is our refuge. Because God is our strength. He isn't the subject of the course we're taking. He is our personal rescue, our refuge, our hope, our reason to disengage from fear, which is the most natural response to something like this. You immediately feel fear. Immediately. Even though you think you're ready for it, you're not. Even in a car, when there's an earthquake, you can feel the car rolling and moving in ways that are in a normal feeling of being in the vehicle. And you're going through it knowing the epicenter may not be that far away. He goes on, God will help her when morning dawns. And now he moves to from a natural disaster to international disturbance. Look at this. Nations made an uproar. The kingdoms tottered. Verse 6. He raised his voice. The earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. Selah. Earlier, Selah, into verse 3. I have a friend who every time he reads Selah, he translates it. Pause and let that sink in. Probably a musical notation. Pause right there. Sometimes a pause is as eloquent as anything in a piece of music or a message that you're hearing. those who know how to pace their pauses, composers who know how to place their pauses, capture the attention of the audience. We were listening to our choir sing last Sunday morning. It was a brand new piece, and our minister of music had them pause and then go on. It was the most effective part of the song. You wanted to suck in your breath. No one moved. Then you go on. When you get to Selah, don't just race on to the next verse. Pause right there. It's placed there for a reason. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. Come, behold the works of the Lord, who has wrought desolations in the earth. He makes wars to cease. At the end of the earth, he breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two, burns the chariots with fire. Stop. See it? My Bible reads, cease striving. The Living Bible, stand silent. The Amplified, be still and know, recognize, understand, I am God. Moffat, give in. He cries, admit that I am God. Another, stop fighting. Know that I am God. I've always enjoyed Eugene Peterson's message. Step out of the traffic. Take a long, loving look at me, your high God, above politics, above everything. It's an emphatic imperative. With a causative stem, you're engaged in the stopping. No one else can stop the striving for you. It's the psalmist's way of saying, stop striving and know that I'm God. He's just described natural disasters, international distress, even personal distress. Believe me, I understand panic. This says don't panic. Don't let that seize you. Don't let that grip you. Stop and know that I am God. I will be exalted. 11, the Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold. Pause and let it sink in. But you won't do it if you don't be still and get quiet. Be still. Be quiet. Learn that He's God. Thanks, Father, for your patience with us over the years. Thank you for bringing us to this day, immature, struggling, stammering though we are. Thank you for understanding us, for your grace, blessing us, for your comfort when we didn't know how you were going to solve a situation. Thank you for your faithfulness, for your goodness and power. And we pause to let the wonder in at this season of the year. Help us to be still and know that you're God. For Jesus' sake. Everybody say.